Hey, amazing students. Miss you. All right, guys. So we're going to continue the scatter plots. Make sure you're looking at Canvas. Follow the Canvas module. Go in order from the first thing to the last thing on every Canvas module, okay? If something is not working, please make sure you're telling the substitute. And again, take notes. It is expected of you to take notes when I get back. It's expectation you will have notes on everything that you're learning that is new. All right, so today we're going to be looking at trend lines. Can you tell me what a trend line is? So we learned this last class, so you should be going back to your notes. And I did give you the definition, and you should have that definition in your notes. Okay? So remember, the trend line, what's another word for trend line? How can we describe it? The line of best fit. And I would love to give you paper right now and have you do this on paper, but again, start testing online. But remember how I said, whenever you do get to your test, you can ask for a dry erase marker right on your screen. Because you're definitely going to need to be drawing on your screen in order to really understand this part, okay? So, if you notice this graph, how would you describe the graph? Can you give me the direction? Can you give me the form? Can you give me the strength? Okay, so going back to last class's descriptor words. And this already has a trend line for you. But if you were to describe this, this would be a positive linear association. And I want you to do that anytime you see a scatter plot, immediately write down its descriptor. Now notice this trend line. They did not play connect the dots and connect all the dots. No, this trend line is in the middle of all your data. Notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 points are on top of the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 points on the bottom of the line. It kind of splits the graph in the middle. Okay? And each point is like the same distance away from the line. Excuse me. So what you're going to do is the trend line is not going to always be provided for you. Okay? You're going to have to draw the trend line yourself most of the time. So let's see what this is talking about. It's talking about height and weight. Why does it make sense that this is a positive linear association? What should the relationship between height and weight be? As someone is taller, doesn't it make sense that their weight would also increase? So this is why this slope would be positive. Or the relationship between height and weight would be a positive relationship. So what we're doing is we're not just making a trend line, we're making predictions from the trend line. So here's my question. If someone was 68 inches tall, how much should they weigh based on the trend line? If someone was 68 inches tall, how much should they weigh based on the trend line? Well, 68 inches tall, which axis is 68 inches? Inches. That's the x-axis. And here's also the thing that's going to trip a lot of people up. Pay attention what the axis is. The y-axis is pounds. The x-axis here is inches. Well, I'm going to find 68 on my x-axis. And I'm going to choose 68, and I'm going to see where it lines up with the trend line. Bam. I hit my trend line. Now what? How do I figure out how many pounds? That same spot I hit my trend line, I'm going to match it up with the y-axis. Well, this is going by 105, 110, 115, 120, 125, 130, 135, 140, 145, 150, somewhere between 145 and 150. What would you say? Like 147? So 147 pounds. Okay, let me ask you another question. If someone weighed 140 pounds, how tall are they based on the trend line? If you feel like you got that first example, pause the video, figure out what you think the answer would be. Again, you can use maybe your ID to help line it up, use a dry erase marker on your iPad screen. For those of you who are trying to use your phone watching these videos, please use your iPad. So this is talking about 140 pounds. Which axis is pounds? The y-axis. So 140. And no, I don't wait till I hit a dot. I always base it on the trend line. Bam, I hit my trend line. Bring the trend line down. That person would be about 66 inches tall. All right, let's do a couple more examples, see if you get it. Okay, this doesn't have a trend line. Let's look what this is about. Ladder prices. The length of the ladder, the cost in dollars. If you've ever been to Home Depot, you should notice the taller the ladder, the higher the price. So how could you describe this graph? Negative, positive, nonlinear, linear, what? Positive linear association. Now notice when I draw my trend line, it's actually going to go through all dots here because they're all lined up perfectly. And also, forgive me, my lines aren't going to be the straightest. I'm using a drawing tablet and not like something that I can like put a ruler on. So bear with me. So this is a positive linear association. My points are increasing from left to right. So let's look at these questions. Approximate the cost. I'm looking for cost. Which axis is cost? The y-axis. So I'm looking for y of a 6-foot ladder. 6-foot ladder. Which axis is ladder length? The x-axis. So it's saying if x equals 6, what is y? So if I look on my x-axis at the 6, I'm following it till I hit my trend line. Bam, I hit my trend line. See where that goes. A little bit above 60. See, this is going by fives. So, what, $63 roughly. Okay, let's do the next question. Again, please, I beg you, pause the video. Try it yourself. Approximate the height of the ladder. So this time I'm looking for the length of the ladder, so x, if the ladder costs $20. Dollars, what's that? The y-axis. So I'm not looking at 20 on the x-axis, I'm looking at 20 on the y-axis. Pause the video. $20. Lines up. A little over 2. So like 2.25 feet ladder. Foot ladder. All right, what I want you to do is pause the video. Draw a trend line. Answer the questions. All right, so let's start off with drawing the trend line. Here, again, we're not playing connect the dots, so it's not going to look like, let me try to get every dot in here. No. Okay, I don't even know if I can erase it. Oh, yeah, there's eraser. Okay. All right, so when I draw my trend line, remember your goal is to kind of get the same amount of points on bottom and top of your line. Sometimes you can line up your ID like a ruler with the first point and the last point, and that gives a pretty good indication. But I'm going to try again. I don't have any tools that I can use to make a perfectly straight line. Okay, so I'm just doing my best. And if you notice, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on top. So I did a really good job getting it in the middle of my data. Okay, and basically if I would have lined up the first and last point, it would give me that about. All right, if Carly runs in a 4-kilometer race, 4-kilometer race, where's kilometers at? Is it the x-axis? No, kilometers is the y-axis. So if my y is 4, how many minutes, which axis is minutes? X. And yes, on your test, on your assignments, pause. I want you to tell me, gave me y, what is x or whatever. It will take her, okay, how many minutes will it take her to run 4 kilometers? So 4 kilometers on the y-axis, line it up till I hit my trend line, bam. Follow it down to see where it hits the x-axis. This is going by what? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So it would take approximately 35 minutes. Do you see why I wish I could give you paper, right? But you should not eyeball this. We're not eyeballing it. You should have work for all of these by writing on your screen or taking a screenshot and annotating it in your photos, okay? If Carly takes 50 minutes to run, 50 minutes, 50 minutes, 50 minutes. Minutes is x-axis. How many kilometers has she ran? Looking for y. So 50 minutes. Oops, 50 minutes. Oh, wait a minute. I hit the end of my graph. And I haven't hit the trend line yet. Well, then I need to extend my trend line. Keep it going. Go back over here. I'm going to use a different color. I can barely see this yellow. So 50 minutes. Followed up. Bam. I hit my trend line. Go across. And again, you should have a ruler or ID, something to help you. I'm above the graph. So I need an approximate here. Let's see. If I was to use a ruler, and this is 0.5, I would say it's a good 5.5 minutes. So yes, here I had a problem solved. I don't just stop. Oh, 5 minutes, or 5 kilometers, I mean. That's not minutes, sorry, kilometers. Oh, 5 kilometers. No, I had to extend past the graph, and it was around 5.56 kilometers. All right. Here are the trend lines drawn for you. Pause the video. Answer the question. Approximate the weight. Which axis is weight? Y-axis of a male Rottweiler at 8 months. Months. Where's months? X-axis. So I'm looking at the 8 on the x-axis. 8 months. This is months. 8 months. Following it till I hit my trend line. Bam, hit my trend line. Followed across. Pretend that's a straight line. What's this going by? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So I'd say it's a little bit below 90 or at 90. Okay, and so if you got 90, you were correct. What you're going to work on the assignment today is drawing the best trend line, because that's the hardest part. And then next class, you're going to work on making the predictions using the trend line. All right, this is the last example. What is the best prediction of the... Sorry about that. What is the best prediction of the average number of hours a person spends at work every week So we're looking for the number of hours a person spends at work. Please pause the video and try it. Spends at work. Work. So I'm looking for work hours. So I'm looking for X. If that person spends an average of 10 hours on recreational activities. 10 hours on recreational activities. That's Y. Pause the video. So first I need to draw my trend line. I'm going to try to do the best I can without a ruler. I would say it's not the best trend line because look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 points on top and 3 points on bottom. I would definitely feel like I need to adjust this trend line just a little bit. Just a slightly up a little bit more to get more points on the bottom of my line. Okay. 10 hours of recreational activity. Okay, so 10 hours of recreational activity hits approximately around 60-ish. So I would say the answer is 65. Okay, how many people, though, fell for trap of A? Because you went from 10 hours on the x-axis and got around 30-something. Okay, don't fall for that trap. All right, great job, guys. Great job. Please do both assignments on Canvas. Follow that module to the T. Have a great day.